In the first part of formulas of Indira Gandhi for Telangana, we have discussed 8-point formula. And today we will discuss about the other 2 points. Telangana had different periods. The first issue, the first 8-point formula came in a crucial period where the Telangana agitation was completely into an intense mode. Setback period means once the Telangana agitation entered into the second half of 1969, gradually the movement or the agitation is entering into a phase where political leadership or political activity is becoming the major activity than the agitation. By this time, lot of things have been done like repression, severe repression, martyrs, and people are getting killed by the repressive measures of the government. Now we are talking about the 5-point formula. This 5-point formula is coming at a juncture where you can see Supreme Court's final verdict on Mulki issue came. Supreme Court's final verdict came in favor of Mulki rules. When it came in favor of Mulki rules, there was a serious agitation in Rayalaseema or Andhra region. So, this is one background. Indira Gandhi continued the discussions with the people of different regions, and since the verdict came out and 5-point formula was coming on the date, that is 27th November 1972. Remember this date. In your examination, they might ask you the dates of these formulas. In 5-point formula, unlike the 8-point, you can see some concrete things are being talked, but not completely in favor of Telangana. First point, in Telangana, Mulki rules are applicable for non-gazetted posts, Tahsildar posts and civil assistant surgeons, junior engineers. These are the posts for which Mulki rules are applicable. It means some gazetted posts, in Telangana, it is open for all. So, NGOs, that is non-gazetted posts, Tahsildar, and third one is civil assistant surgeon, fourth one is junior engineer. Rest of the group 1 posts, rest of the gazetted posts, whether it is group 1 or group 2, they are not for Mulkis. It is for open. Open means anyone can be appointed in Telangana for the gazetted posts, excluding these things. So, this is first part of the statement, first part of the point number 1 in 5-point formula. Second one is, every second non-gazetted post out of 3 in the secretariat, every second non-gazetted post out of 3 in the secretariat, offices of HODs and the state government offices shall be reserved for Mulkis. This already we have this type of formula before also, means out of 3, 1, 2, 3, this second post should be reserved for Mulkis, where in the secretariat, offices of HODs and state government offices. Again, the first part of the statement is also applicable, means this is applicable for non-gazetted officer posts, Tahsildars, civil assistant surgeons and junior engineers, and not the others. So, this is point number 1 in 5-point formula. Second one, these safeguards shall be implemented in Telangana till the end of December 1980, in Twin Cities till 1977. How many years? This is 5-year plus. 5-year plus I am saying because in Twin Cities, this formula or this safeguard will be implemented till 1977. This formula is being declared in 1972 plus 5, 77. So, till 1977 in Twin Cities, and in districts it is till 1980. Means in the second part of the first formula we talked about the posts in secretariat, the posts in HOD offices, the posts in the offices which are state level. This second part of the point number 1, take this, apply it to this point number 2 for till 1977. Rest of the Mulki rules means non-gazetted posts will be for Mulkis, will be applicable till December 1980. Means these safeguards are being extended to a maximum period of 1980, minimum period of 1977. So, this is point number 2. To facilitate promotions in Andhra and Telangana, first and second level cadres shall be regionalized. This is not related to Telangana only, this is related to Andhra also. Means the rationalization or regionalization of cadres, the entire cadre should be divided into first level cadre and second level cadre, and this cadre fixation will give you promotions. Means regionalized promotion means that will be applicable for Telangana and Andhra too. If the cadre is fixed like first level cadre, second level cadre, the seniority list will be created, and first level cadres, again from that list the promotions will happen, or from second level cadre to first level cadre the promotions will be held. Means this is applicable for both the regions, that is Andhra and Telangana too. No harm to the interests of the Telangana students in Twin Cities. Educational facilities shall be extended, but Mulki rules will not be applicable for them. No harm to the interests of Telangana students in Twin Cities. Do you see a proper or a concrete proposal here? Nothing of that sort. But this point is trying to suppress discreetly, saying that no harm will be happening to Telangana students in Twin Cities. Means the same things which are there will continue, their rights and everything. But second point, you see, educational facilities shall be expanded, more educational facilities will be created, and in those more educational facilities, Mulki rules will not be applicable. Very interesting. Some educational facilities are there, institutions are there, and provision is there. And over on this, you are creating new facility. And this new facility is borrowed from Mulki's rights. So what you are doing is you are creating new facility for the all. And Telangana people or students should fight for the open one. Not specifically, they can't talk about the rights in the new facilities. A joint police force shall be deployed in Hyderabad and Secunderabad. Joint police force, it means there is something like Hyderabad or Telangana is a separate territory. It's like two countries merging together, and there is some problem with the police force, and police force should be created jointly. Means the other region will also be represented, and this joint police force will guard Hyderabad and Secunderabad to show that there is a concern, there is a problem for law and order in Telangana for the non-Telanganites. If that is the case, see the same demand, history repeats, history continues, history will show its impact. In the next phase also you can see what we are talking about. In the last phase, when Hyderabad demand is there, Hyderabad should go into the joint capital. Then there was a demand for joint police force. My force and your force. My army, your army. It's like two different countries. Always you had this problem in Telangana or United Andhra Pradesh. So understand this as a joint police force. Then details to be worked with the consultation of Telangana. This is a mere execution aspect of it. So these 5 points were expressed by this formula, and the issues in these 5 points, if we see, gazetted posts in Telangana kept outside the purview of Mulki now. Before that, Mulkis were having their share in gazetted posts also. So gazetted posts in Telangana shall be for Mulkis according to the Supreme Court verdict. Supreme Court gave a verdict in favor of this. Mulki is constitutional. When they said Mulki is constitutional, even gazetted posts are for Telanganites, under Mulki rules. But now this formula has created such a situation that Supreme Court decision of Mulki rules will be out of this one. Telangana's, see, this is a step backward for Telangana people. So this point limits, this formula limits the Supreme Court verdict. Mulki rules are constitutional, but the government is creating a formula where gazetted posts are out of the purview of Mulki rules. Done. So you are stopping Telangana people to become officers. Why it is crucial to become officers? Remember, Telugulo ఒక సామెత ఉంది, వడ్డించేవాడు మనవాడైతే ఎక్కడ కూర్చున్నా మన విస్తట్లో వచ్చి మనకు కావాల్సింది పడుతుంది. If the group 1 posts or officer posts are in the hands of non-Telanganites, they can do many things. What we have seen till 1969 is the same thing. Officers from other areas are creating all sorts of provisions, taking the loopholes and giving employment to non-locals. So the same thing will happen if Telangana people are out of this Mulki rule provision for gazetted posts. So this is a setback in terms of this 5-point formula. Second one is, this was opposed both by Telangana and Andhra. Sometimes you can satisfy one party and sometimes you can't satisfy both the parties because you are trying to balance which cannot be balanced. Telangana issue is such an issue where you cannot make some balance. This balance period was there in gentleman agreement period. Gentleman agreement period is the only period where you can balance because that was the first stage. The honesty or integrity of Andhra leadership could have been proven, but it did not. So automatically you lose that opportunity. There is no balancing act in Telangana now. You have to come out for Telangana. So you cannot satisfy Telangana people with your formulas. Andhra people also are not satisfied because still mulki rules are there. Another point is, the bill was introduced in the parliament to implement the formula, and when the parliament was trying to implement through the bill, taking the points, then Jayandhra movement rose and Andhra MPs resigned from parliament and the formula became a non-starter. Andhra MPs have some specific quality. Telangana MPs have some specific quality. Whenever there is a crisis, whenever they felt that there is a stage where it is detriment to the progress of Andhra, all the MPs will resign even much before. And Telangana people were forcing the MPs to resign in the last phase and MPs were reluctant to resign. A few resigned, not all. So you can see Andhra MPs are resigning. They are trying to create a crisis in administration and constitutionally when the issue was coming to the fore. So when the points were trying to be raised in the form of the bill, it was being introduced into the parliament as a bill. Andhra MPs resigned. Jayandhra movement was rising. It was on the rise. So this 5-point formula could not be implemented. It was a non-starter completely altogether. So this is about the 5-point formula. And then come to the last one, that is 6-point formula of Indira Gandhi. The background of this point is, you can see, P.V. Narasimha Rao had to resign as Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in 1973, 10 January, because Jayandhra movement was on rise. When Jai Telangana movement was on rise, Brahmanand Reddy is not resigning. Brahmanand Reddy resigned because there was a pact between Telangana Praja Samiti and Indira Gandhi. It is not because of Telangana movement, replacement of the CM. But what has happened? P.V. Narasimha Rao came and within short time, the Jayandhra movement also came. Jayandhra movement is against Telangana. See, Andhra were not ready for division till the Supreme Court verdict came, supporting the Mulki rules. Once the Supreme Court verdict came, they want our own state. What happened to the greater understanding, magnanimous understanding of all Telugus together? 1912, they were talking about Telugus together, but only one aspect of Mulki rules, that is, one aspect of the verdict, that is for employment, and it is reserving for Telangana. And Andhra said, no, we want other state. What happened to the magnanimous demand of we Telugus are one? No, they don't. They don't have that. It is to appropriate the employment. It is to appropriate the resources. These things has happened. This united Andhra Pradesh came in. And once the Mulki rules judgment is there, they want their own separate state. Jayandhra movement came in 1972 or 73. There the demand is for separate Telangana, separate Andhra. The same thing was demanded by Telangana people. And you could have heeded to that request. People would have been happy in 1970 itself. Telangana and Andhra getting separated. 2 states for Telugus, which happened in 2014. This dream would have been come true much before. 2014 means 14 years here and 20 years there. Almost 35 years before itself, we would have our own states. More development. So, Jai Telangana and Jayandhra. Jayandhra movement is to separate. When Jayandhra movement came, all the film stars supported it, as we have discussed in other topic. They supported Jayandhra and said that immediately give the Jai Andhra state. No one talked about Jai Telangana. No one talked about Telangana movement when Telangana was on rise. So, in this background, P.V. Narasimha Rao resigned. Not only this, P.V. Narasimha Rao's resignation had some of the more points also. We will talk when in some context, like the aspects in the administration, like land ceiling acts and all those things were not liked by the ruling class or the landlord class, and P.V. Narasimha Rao had to step down. So, owing to Jayendra movement, he stepped down and president rule was imposed in Andhra Pradesh. So, after suppressing the separate statehood movement, both in Telangana, after suppressing this Andhra movement, Indira Gandhi succeeded in dividing the leadership of both sides, and she came out with a new formulation. That formulation is that 6-point formula. 6-point formula is the formula which has nothing to do with all these things, but it is completely another aspect we will see. So, before that there was a huge exercise. Indira Gandhi met the leaders of two sides, discussed with the Home Minister K.C. Pant. K.C. Pant was the Home Minister then. Then remember, we had two Pants Home Minister. Govind Ballabh Pant at the time of, after the merger time it was Patel. After that, gentleman agreement time, you have one Pant, that is G.B. Pant, Govind Ballabh Pant. That he was the Home Minister then, central. And now it is K.C. Pant. K.C. Pant was the Home Minister, and she discussed with K.C. Pant, and this 6-point formula came out after deliberations. Remember, all these things are happening between 1969 and 75. This is also a testing period for Indira Gandhi, because she was consolidating her position inside the party and in the government, and she is ruling with the iron hand, iron wrist, whatever you call. So, she is coming with a different set of formulas, but not heeding to the basic demand of Telangana. So, on 21st September 1973, Indira Gandhi has declared the next set of formulas, that is 6-point formula. And 6-point formula is one such worst formula for Telangana, because Telangana lost all the victories, all the gains which it won in the entire period. For example, you talk about the safeguards, though they were violated, at least for namesake, on the paper you had safeguards. If you see Indira Gandhi's 6-point formula, the first point is allocating funds for the development of backward areas. Allocation of funds for the development of backward areas. See the word backward areas, it is not Telangana. Now we are talking in general. Backward area can be Srikakulam, backward area can be Adilabad. So, allocation of funds for the development of backward areas. Development or developing the capital in a planned way. Then formulating the plans in legislature. Experts to be included in supervision of implementation. Consulting subcommittees in backward areas or constituting subcommittees in backward areas. Allocation of fund for the backward areas. If we recollect what is happening in the next phase also. Yanamala Ramakrishnudu, the speaker in the assembly, when Dasyam Pranay Bhaskar was talking about Telangana, he said, don't talk about Telangana. No word such Telangana exists as constitutional. So, Telangana word is banned in TDP government under Chandrababu and speakership of Yanamal Ramakrishnudu, and here also the word Telangana is gone now. Formula is oriented towards a backward area. This backward area can be anywhere in Andhra Pradesh. So, this is first part of this point number 1 under 6-point formula. One is the backward areas funds. Second one is developing the capital. Again, this is crucial. I want to comment upon this. This is 1973. Development of capital. After this 6-point formula or understanding that capital should be developed thoroughly, she is talking about the colonization of capital also indirectly. Development of capital means what? The flows of capital is towards the capital. Flows of capitalism is towards the capital. We can see wherever the things are happening. In the other topic, we will be discussing about the colonization or changes happening after 1972 or 73 in Hyderabad, real estate, movie, film field, and how the land is completely alienated from Telangana. And development of capital is one such thing we are talking about here. In the last phase also, we talked about the alienation of land from Telangana people. City getting alienated from Telangana. How we can understand this? Before 1973 or 1975, whenever there was a movement for Telangana, Hyderabad was a strong center, whether it is 1952 or it is 1969. Or meetings are held for Telangana, always huge gathering, students were into that. But post 1973, post 6-point formula, the orientation about the capital has changed. The capital, that is Hyderabad, should lose its character. Why it should lose its character? It's because Hyderabad, if it loses its Telangana character, Hyderabad is the soul of Telangana. Soul of Telangana. Telangana is the soul of Deccan, core of Deccan. Hyderabad is the soul of Telangana. If Hyderabad loses the soul, Hyderabad loses its essence, then you can rule the entire Telangana. This was the essence. So, allocating funds and developing capital are together. Then plans, legislature and all these things. But important aspect, another important aspect about this is constituting subcommittees in backward areas. Means like TRC, you will constitute a subcommittee to devise. This is point number 1. Then point number 2 is framing an uniform education system to give locals more opportunities. You say local uniform education system, but also say locals more opportunity. It is quite contradictory. And in this background, she has created an institution in Hyderabad, which is a prestigious one and a bigger one, establishing a central university in Hyderabad. Education system is to aim expanding the facilities. Means University of Hyderabad today, what we call it as Central University, Hyderabad University, it was created under 6-point formula. It can be asked in your examination. University of Hyderabad or Central University created under which formula? That is 6-point formula. Again, though University of Hyderabad is created under 6-point formula, it is not providing any reservation for Telangana as such. It has all India character and Telangana is losing its land for a University of Hyderabad. Under 6-point formula, a new facility has been created, but of no use for the locals. That is point number 2. Third one is in direct recruitment, locals to be given priority in A, non-gazetted posts. In non-gazetted posts also, direct recruitment. Again, what are the things excluded? Secretariat is excluded, HOD office is excluded, state office is excluded, Hyderabad police is excluded. Means non-gazetted posts are the posts direct recruitment in other than Hyderabad. When you have other than Hyderabad, again you can see how Hyderabad is getting alienated from Telangana. This is the second one. Then corresponding posts in local bodies also to be locals, for more locals, priority to locals. It is not priority to Telangana, for locals. By saying that, you are reserving Andhra to not only Telangana. Then posts of Tahsildar, junior engineer, civil assistant surgeon, gazetted posts should be categorized into 1 and 2 grades. That is one point saying categorization. These posts, these are to be categorized in 1 and 2 grade so that the promotions can happen. This is point number 3. Then fourth point, administrative tribunal to be established to resolve the issues of employment, seniority, promotions, etc. So state government must implement the tribunal's verdict, that is binding on the state government. This is an administrative measure to resolve or listen to the grievances and give some verdicts on the grievances of the employees. The fifth one, constitution to be amended, empowering the president to avoid controversies and uncertainties in implementing the above. Means this point is talking about the amendment to the constitution. This amendment is resulting in what we call in Article 371, we are giving the powers to the parliament, or the act is giving the powers to the president to amend whenever to implement whatever the president or the central government decides upon, whenever the controversies or uncertainties are arising when you declare above. So, sixth point is there is no need to continue mulki rules and regional committees after implementing the above. That is the death knell. Once you say that's all, no discussion, nothing will happen. So, no need to continue mulki rules. Mulki rules gone, then regional committee gone, and implement all the 5 points which are mentioned above. This is nothing but losing all the things which you have got through your struggle much before 1956 and after 1956. So, this 6-point formula was a big, what you call fiasco, big treachery, big blow to Telangana demand. So who were the signatories? But this Telangana demand could happen, this Telangana, all this 6-point formula, all the points of this 6-point formula were against Telangana, but there was no protest because by this time leadership was completely suppressed or controlled by Indira Gandhi, divided house. So she got the nod from the Telangana leaders and Andhra leaders too. For example, P.V. Narasimha Rao was consulted, signed the statement supporting 6-point formula. Kodati Rajamallu, a TRC chairman, and the Telangana Regional Committee chairman will lose his job after signing it. He signed. Then V.B. Raju, the settler, Jalagavengal Rao, another settler, and next chief minister, and K. Venkat Swami, J. Chokka Rao, Jaipal Reddy, Uppunutala Purushottam Reddy, K. Ram Reddy, and Rajaram, Govind Singh, all these Telangana leaders signed in support of this 6-point formula. And as a result, what has happened? Mulki rules are gone. TRC got abolished. There is no committee for Telangana now. And 32nd Amendment to Constitution happened in May 1974. New sections to this article number 371, that is D and E, were added to article 371. Remember this, it's a crucial thing. Article 371D, we always talk about this presidential order, we call it as presidential order, and this presidential order is very important. You will talk about this presidential order or article 371D, that amendment and everything is coming as part of this 6-point formula. So on 18th October 1975, the presidential order came, that is AP Public Employment in brackets, Organization of Local Cadres and Regulation of Direct Recruitment. Organization of Local Cadres and Regularization of Direct Recruitment. That is the AP Public Employment Order 1975. Finally, to sum up, what is happening as the result of this 6-point formula? One thing is, by abolition of all these things and saying that the chapter is closed, irregular appointments done previously are getting regularized. Second thing, residence clause, which was for 15 years since Nizam period, is got reduced to 4 years. 4 years of stay will give you the residentship. So residence clause, that is 15 years reduced to 4 years as a result of the 6-point formula. Then open quota is considered as non-local quota from now onwards. When you say open quota, it is open for locals too. But the interpretation of everything is happening and taken into the hands of the officials who are not sympathetic to Telangana, and open quota is becoming a non-local quota. Increasing in the level of posts to cut number of local posts. Means when you say non-gazetted posts or lower level posts are for locals, then what you do, wherever there is possible, you slightly increase the level of the post to bring them out of this local criteria, local cadre. Then what will happen? These things will out of the reservation for the locals. So this last point is nothing but just share in recruitment is getting denied. Just share, JUST, just share means nyayochitamaina vata for the locals, and that means Telanganites. So 8, 5, 6 formulas came in different periods, in different backgrounds, but could not satisfy the demands of Telangana movement. They could not satisfy the aspirations, means nothing is done in terms of aspirations. It is only to patch up the issue and close the agitations, suppress the agitations with their own type of implementation. So 8-point formula, 5-point formula, 6-point formula, I conclude as the expression of high-handedness, expression of arbitrariness, expression of suppression in terms of political activity by Indira Gandhi in Telangana movement.